How to make shopping for a home fast, fun, and easy. So you've decided to give life a shake and move to sunny Phoenix, Arizona. Good for you. But with over 30 cities and towns to choose from, and the valley being 100 miles from one end to the other, your experience of shopping for a home begins to disappoint. It's not as exciting as you had first imagined. You're looking at neighborhoods that aren't anything like you had pictured. Maybe you're looking at houses that just don't have the architectural style that you'd hoped for. But what if there was a way that we could make shopping for your home as exciting and fun as you had first imagined? Well, I'm here to show you that it can. So I've got a couple tips for you. Tip number one is do an update on the big picture of what you're looking for. Has everyone who's going to live in this home with you taken the time to think about and share with you their ideas of what would make a great next home? Opening up and allowing input from everybody, tall and small, to give you their thoughts on what would make a great home might sound a little bit stressful on the onset, but actually it can do a lot to ensure that everybody's happy once you find that place. Here's a great way to do this. Have everybody go off on their own and write down all their thoughts and ideas about what their needs are and their wants are in this new home. Then come back together as a group and share your findings. And you may just find that there's a lot more common ground than you thought there would be. And for sure, one thing this will do, it'll help stave off and eliminate a lot of the conflict that could have occurred had you not taken into consideration everybody's ideas about what's important to them. And if there are any big disparities that get discovered now, it's a lot better that that stuff come out at this time so that you can shift and end up finding a home that satisfies everybody. Tip number two is get granular with the details. We want to be prepared for the obvious questions. Every real estate agent is going to ask you what features are important to you in the home, and that's because we don't want to show you properties that aren't a good fit for you. Now, it might seem a little bit awkward to let that agent in to what's really important to you. I mean, beyond the 3 bedrooms and the 2 baths, it might be a little bit awkward to let them know that you're really looking for a home with high ceilings because the last one you lived in had low ceilings and it felt gloomy to you, and it might just feel a little bit vulnerable to open yourself up and let your agent know these details. But you know what? Doing this is only going to lead to a better experience for you, and it's going to keep you from wasting your time looking at those homes with the 8-foot ceilings that just make you miserable. Have you really thought through these questions? Chances are really high that things have changed a lot since the last time you worked with an agent to find a property. And you know which ones are deal breakers and which ones are negotiable? Here's a great story, a great example of how this works. Thinking about a client of mine, a couple, Patricia and Michael, who had a beautiful estate property up in North Scottsdale, a couple of acres, and they both used to love to work on the garden and prune all the plants and enjoyed the desert life. And then their grandkids came along who happened to live in Central Phoenix. So that big garden up in North Scottsdale became a lot less important. They ended up selling that, and we found a great property that's just 2 or 3 minutes away from where their grandkids live. Number 3 is know your financing options. So this is a really good time to really think about what you're comfortable with payment-wise. How far can you stretch if you found a home that was just a little bit over? What would you have to sacrifice financially if you made that stretch, and are you truly okay with that? So I want to encourage you up front to explore and consider all your financing options in today's market. If you've always borrowed and gotten a mortgage, have you considered the possibility of paying cash if you have the ability to do that in today's competitive market? A lot of times it'll give you a strong edge in the seller's mind. They know that if somebody's paying cash, they don't have to worry about things like appraisals. And at the same time, right now, money's cheap as far as mortgages go. So that can be a great option too. It's just something to think about, right? You know, every single option has its advantages. Which one's the right one for you? As a realtor, I can say that if a customer arrives in town and they've only got a vague idea of what they're looking for, then it takes about 10 houses before they start to ask the kind of questions that'll help them figure out for themselves what they're looking for. And I can also tell you that by the time this happens, a lot of times their stamina has been challenged and they really start to question whether or not they should do this at all. Now, on the flip side, the customer who comes into town who has a really clear idea of what they're looking for is going to have a far better experience. Here's a great example of somebody who did it right. His name is Zach. He's a client of mine. He had sold his home in Ohio, taken a job here in Phoenix, and he knew he was going to be working up at the I-17 and Deer Valley corridor. Now, before he made the physical move, Zach and I spent a good deal of time talking over the phone and on Zoom meetings about what would be important to him. And he established right up front that he did not want to live in a suburban environment. He wanted to live where all the action was, where all the young people were. And so we decided right away that he probably would not be happy up in North Phoenix. He would probably be happier in downtown Phoenix. So that's exactly what we did. He ended up with a home built in the 1940s, made some modifications to it, and ended up with a really beautiful place that he still lives in today. And has no plans of moving anytime soon because he did his homework up front. He was honest with himself, and more importantly, honest and open with me so that I could help lead him to the right property. So the next thing I want to do to really help you out is encourage you to check out my neighborhoods playlist. Now, we're constantly adding to this all the time, so that all you've got to do is click on and play the videos from the various neighborhoods across the valley. And by the way, if there is a certain neighborhood that you've heard about or may have interest in and you don't see a video for that, just leave a comment below or give me a call. Let me know what that is and I'll make that video so that you and others can enjoy that and get good information. Thanks for watching this video. See ya.